Okay, so let's do a little bit of a training about how to use your Square app for checking people out. So there's a few things that you probably need to be aware of when it comes to the app. First things first, this is your menu button. These little three lines up at the top. You will go to checkout. There's invoices, transactions, reports, balance, customers, items, and settings. So let's go ahead and click on the settings. And what you're going to look at here is here are some different ways that you can modify your checkout to make it easier to check people out. First things first is your payment type. So let's go ahead and click on that. And there's 9 active, okay? So in order to make this easier on myself, I can remove all the, because this is what's automatic in here. I can remove all the ways that I don't want to, that I know that I'm not going to check people out, that I'm not going to use for checkout. So the first thing that I'm not going to do is I'm probably not going to use gift cards. I'm probably also not going to use invoices. I'm probably not going to send people a checkout link. Okay. So we have manual credit entry still checked. We have customer card on file. We have check, gift card, and then other payment types. Okay. So I personally never use checks. I think it's completely not a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and check that off as well. I'm going to check off other gift card and certificate, and then other payment types. I don't know what that might be, but we can go ahead and leave that there. Okay. So now we have cash, manual credit card entry, customer card on file, and other payment types. So the reason it's got manual credit card entry is because I do not have my Square my reader plugged into my phone, so it probably would not have that there. Here's the other thing where it says taxes and it says 1 active. Okay, well, we've got 8.75% taxes. That is, I've got that active on my taxes right now. So if I needed to charge taxes for when people come up to pay, I would need to have that enabled so that I can make sure that I charge people taxes. You need to check to make sure in your state or your local municipality whether you have to charge for taxes or not. So for the time being, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to click the enabled to not be enabled so that we don't have to worry about the taxes. Okay, signature and receipt. So this is what we're going to tell people. Do we want to never collect on a signature when they sign? That means, are they going to sign for a credit card? Are you going to only collect on signatures over $25? Are you going to always collect on signatures? Let's go ahead and just always collect on signatures. Then you go down and where are they going to sign? Are they going to sign on your device screen or are they going to sign on a printed receipt? Well, unless you're going to have a printed receipt, they're going to have to sign on your device. Skipping receipt screen is skip the receipt screen to expedite checkout. Digital receipts will be sent. So skip receipt screen. This is if it's going to pop up with a receipt and it's going to ask you, does your customer want a receipt for their transaction? One of the reasons you might want to do that is because if you enable the skip the receipt screen, if you skip it, you're not going to be able to get anybody's telephone number or email address and put it into your system. And regardless of if they pay with a credit card or with cash, you're going to probably want to do that. So we're not going to enable the skip screen. Then there's a bunch of different things down below where you can kind of accommodate based on what you're doing. Obviously, quick amounts. You can have quick amount buttons on your checkout keypad to speed up your sale. Tipping, obviously we're not in a tipping business, but you can add that on there. Offline mode, accept swiped card payments when your internet service is temporarily unavailable. This is, let's say that you are in somewhere where you're having trouble getting to the internet. Well, you don't want to not be able to run credit cards, so you can allow for the offline mode. You can say per transaction limit, and then you can change that to anything that you want. So let's just go ahead and say per transaction limit could be up to $1,000. We'll just say it's up to 100 because if you're running it in offline mode, what that means is it's going to save that card and then run it when you get to your internet. Well, if someone has just bought something for $1,000 and their card doesn't go through, now you're going to be out that item, plus you're not going to be able to run that card. So you can opt for that up to a certain amount of money. Customer management, that is how you're going to collect information. So you're going to collect before checkout. You can collect information and add a customer to a sale by tapping add customer. So if you want to keep track of people and how often they're coming to your sales, you can always ask to add a customer to a sale. we're going to go ahead and click that so that we can get in the habit of always asking to add a customer to a sale. And it will ask you if you want to. Collect after checkout is collecting information and add a customer to a sale. After the checkout, charge and save card to customer, and then save card after checkout. So you can save that card after checkout to make sure that you still have the card available. So that is that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can go to time tracking. If you're going to pay somebody to work for you and you're paying them by the hour, you can actually add team members and then track their time. There's a bunch of different things, but we're not going to get into every single thing that the Square app can do because it's not a Square app training. It's how to actually run checkouts at your sale. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to your items. Your items are going to be everything that's entered in to your library of items. So you can click on all items and you can see that you have everything here that you've added so far. Okay, if you wanted to add another item, you'd go to create item. Let's say that we have a computer that we're going to sell. So we would add computer. It's going to be in a category. You can also create categories. So let's just say that we've got the computer and we already have an electronics category. So we're going to add that. And then we're ringing it up by the item. We are pricing it. We're going to add a price point, $200. Let's just say that this computer is $200. And adding a variation, you can add a variation for the item if you want to, but right now we're not going to do that. The next thing that you're going to want to do is click on here where it says modifier set. So you want to be able to have the option to modify this item. Okay, so this is going to get to all of that. Okay, so if you scroll back, you're going to go to categories. This is where you can control some of your categories. Then go to modifiers. This is creating a modification. So if you wanted to create a modification of price where you can go in and you can take off $1, $5, or $10, or $25 off the price, you can add those in here, okay? Now, you have to be able to, we're gonna go to the one that we already have. We're gonna click on the special price one. So I have added a special price and we can take off 1, 2, 10, 5. To add another one, you'd click on it. So we would say take off 25. We could say take off 25. And you would go over here and you'd enter in 25. Okay, we're going to go up here. We're going to change this because that's not correct. And then we're going to change that because that's not correct. So then we're going to hit save. Okay, now here's the thing. Go back up here where it says apply set. You want the modifications to be on every single item. So that's why when I said earlier, when you enter in the item, you just are going to add that you want to be able to modify it. But here's where you can add all of the items from your, see, it's already checked right there at the computer. You can add all the items from your library so that you can have that modification. And I'm going to show you why it's important here in just a second. So we're going to hit save. So we're going to go back to discounts. So this is where you have a discount. So let's say that you want to have a discount for 25% off, and then you have one for 50% off. So what you would do is you would just hit discount 25 so that you know it's 25% off. And then you can add a percent if you wanted it to be a percent, or you could add a discount of a dollar amount. But if we do 25%, now we have a last day sale 50% off and a discount 20% off. Units are going to be, if you wanted to add that you have, you know, let's say that you're going to sell, let's say in this case we had bows, okay? So let's say that we have 100 bows, like wrapping paper bows, and we're going to sell 8 of them for $1. You can actually have units in here where it says 8 bows for $1, okay? So now that we know, if we wanted to keep up with inventory that way, we know that this is how many bows that we've sold. So this is our items, okay? So now we're going to go into our checkout. So our checkout is, you have 2 different ways of entering items. You have your library at the bottom, that's what's highlighted right now. Then you have your keypad, okay? So earlier I said your quick keys for your quick amounts. So you have 15, 20, 35. You can make those anything that you want. Depending on when we went to the modifiers, you can actually change that. But here's where you can enter a whole price for a sale, or you can go in and you can enter a library. Now, this is where it becomes important that as you've gone on and you've done your inventory, that you can keep up with what you've sold and how much you've sold it for. So let's say that we're going to go down and someone has brought me their Jeep, the suitcase that was the Jeep brand. So we're going to enter Jeep suitcase. Okay. So we go up, we're going to click up at the top to keep track of everything that you're adding. You're going to go up to where it says current sale, and then you can actually look and pull that apart. And let's say that it is 50% off day, so we are going to sell this item for 50% off, and you're going to hit save. So now you can see that the discount, it received a discount and it took off $10. Okay? Now, you can either, when you enter in an item, you can either put in a price point or you can leave it variable. Okay? So if you wanted to leave it variable, because we have 2 ironing boards. Okay? So we had 2 ironing boards at the sale. So I entered in an ironing board as an item, but I left it variable. So if you click on ironing board where it says variable, it's going to ask you, how much do you want me to charge for it? Well, if they brought the big ironing board, it was $10. So we're going to add $10, add. So now if you go up to current sale, you can see that we charged somebody for an ironing board and we charged them $10. You could go down and do the same thing, and let's say they brought you the small one too. So that small one was $4. So now we know we sold 2 ironing boards, one for $10, one for $4. Okay? Now let's say we're like, we entered the wrong thing. We want to go ahead and clear this item off. So let's go back in. We decided to delete the ironing board. The lady didn't want it. She decided she didn't want to keep it. You're just going to remove the item, and that removes the item from the cart, so to speak. And now you've got, it just keeps up with that for you. And you can do variable or you can do price points. You can get as specific with this as you want, or if you want to just go ahead and just keep certain items specific and keep other items open. Like if you have like a lot of, for example, one of the things that we had a lot of in this last sale, and I'm scrolling up here, was bells. Okay, so this is where we know that bells, this is where you can enter in if you have like signs that say how much you're going to charge for this one thing. Well, let's say that the sign that was in this living room was like all bells are $1. Well, now I know if I look on here that the bells are $1. So I can go to the bells, I can click on the bells, and it's going to ask me how many bells do I want to enter in. Okay, so we're going to say, well, they bought 10 bells. Okay, and I know that one of the modifiers was if they bought 10 bells, then they would get it for $8. So we could take off $2. Okay, so now if we go up to our current sale, we have 10 bells for $30, take off $2. So there's ways that you can go about adjusting it to keep track of how much each person is getting off and then how much of each thing that you're selling. If you just wanted to charge them a basic amount, you could do that. And then in that case, you could just add $50. You could put a note on there if you wanted to. Click on the note, say, this is for the TV. Okay, hit done. Now in our current sale, we have a custom amount that we're charging somebody $50 for the TV. We have a Jeep suitcase that we got $10 off of. And then, so you can see we have an itemized slip of how much we're keeping up with. So now everybody's done, we're ready to pay. So you're going to hit charge $94, and you've got the option of cash, credit card entry, card on file, or more. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do cash. They're going to give us $100. We're going to tender it, and now it says $6 change out of $100. How would you like to receive your receipt? So you're going to ask your client or the customer, do you want a receipt? Do you want it text messaged or emails to message for you? If they do not want a receipt, then you can hit no thanks, or you would just type in their telephone number. We'll type in mine. So it would hit send, and it would automatically go to them, and then they would be able to get a receipt for their purchase. Once in this screen, you're going to hit right up at the top where it says new sale, and now you're right back to, and there was my receipt was the 833. So now you're right back to the sales screen. So going over here to the menu, if you go to transactions, this is going to be where you can see all the transactions for the day. Okay. Then you can come over here to transactions. to reports, and you can go to sales, and you can see how much I've sold for today. So we're playing around with this right now. You can see where it says 1D, says for January 19th, I've sold $104. You can go back for a week, because I haven't done anything for the past week. So now we know we've sold $104, but it would add everything for the week, the same for 1 month, 3 months, and then the 1 year. So you can run a few sales reports from this particular app, or you can go to your website and go to your Square website, and where you can run a lot more specific reports. So if you wanted to know how much did I make on this sale versus how much I made on this other sale, you can do that. And then if there's any disputes, it's going to run up. I don't have any disputes on mine, but if someone wanted to dispute a charge, they could do that. So that's pretty much it. It's really easy to use this. Here's the reason why I love this, because let's say that the bedroom set, so we're looking at the bedroom set. Let's say that we have a sign on there for $25. Well, $125. Let's say that the sign fell off. You can have everybody that works for you have this app downloaded with your information so that they log in through your account, and they can look and see, okay, the bedroom set is $125 without having to come and ask you. You can adjust this price point, and you can go back in, like let's say that you have reduced that amount. So you can go back into your items, you can go to all items, and then you can search. So if we're gonna search for our bedroom set. Well, there it does. It's gonna pop up right there. Okay. Now we're going to, let's say that we took off $25. Okay. So now we're going to, we're going to reduce the amount from 125 to 100. So you can update all of your stuff at all times to make sure that everybody has the right amount that they're selling everything for. Okay? So if you wanted to go to your settings, you can actually go to where you have, let's see. If you go into your app, not your app, but your website, you can actually add people on to your profile, so that you can say, like, let's say that you wanted to get your son to come in and help you, and you wanted him to have an app, a Square app, but you did not want him to be able to ring things up on it. You can go onto your website, you can add him on there, but give him no abilities to be able to ring anything up. Or you can do the opposite and make sure that they have the ability to ring things up. The deal is that you can change that as depending on whatever you're doing, as far as if you have one sale that you want them to be able to do it, you can go back in and change it for another. That way you can make sure that your helpers aren't just ringing things up with you still up at the checkout stand, but it also gives the ability for someone else to do it on their phone if you're not standing right there. So let's say that I'm going to be late coming in on Saturday morning as me personally, and I'm going to be late, but I want somebody to be able to ring things up, but I don't have a tablet there. My tablet is with me, or my phone is with me. I want to be able to give them the ability to ring things up while I'm not there. That's the last thing you want to do, is not have the ability to ring things up and run credit cards. But you also want to be able to take inventory, and even if they're not running cards, you want to be able to make sure that you're still capturing all the different items that you're selling, even if it's with cash. So you want to get everybody in the habit of ringing everything up. Now, here's another thing, another reason this is beneficial. It might seem like it's kind of a pain right now, but let's just say, because this is what some people will do. Let's say that some people bring you 25 items, and they're all small little items, and they bring it up to you in a laundry basket that they also want to purchase. So now you've got 25 small items in a laundry basket. You're going through and you're going to ring this up. So they brought you Clorox wipes, they bought you some Corningware, they bought you a cutting board, they bought you a curling iron, they brought you a dress and some rolls of fabric and a figurine, one of which was $2, another figurine, one of which was $4. Okay, so now we've got, let's just say 8 items. Well, then you give them their total and you say, well, everything together is $20. And now they're like, okay, well, I don't want the dress or the figurine, or how much was this, or how much was that. It's quite annoying, and I won't lie, but it is quite annoying. But some people just start grabbing stuff and just bring it up. They're not paying attention to how much it actually costs. And then they'll start to say, well, how much is the total without this? How much is the total without that? If you don't bring it up and you just give them a price, you can get really swindled out of money. So let's say that they come up, they say $20. Okay, well, I don't want the dress, so how much without the dress? We're going to remove the item. So now we know the total without the dress is $17. Okay, well, how much without this figurine for $4? We're going to remove that item. Okay, so now it's $13. So instead of you having to do mental math with somebody that's bringing this and taking this away and putting this back and all that other stuff, you can really keep up with it. If the line gets long while somebody is doing that, then that's really not your problem. That's the problem of the person that brought it to the checkout stand. So people are just going to have to wait, and it kind of stinks, but you can also make a rule that please don't come up to the checkout stand unless you're ready to check out. If you're just asking for prices, then you can ask for, the workers that are back there. But this is a really good app, and it keeps track of everything, and you can go back and look at everything. You can even do a starting drawer. Let's say, oh, I have a card. You can even do a starting drawer if you want to. There's ways of doing all kinds of stuff on this app, but it's a very cool app. And so I highly suggest using it. Even if you're not going to run it for credit cards, use it because it's free. Like I said, it doesn't cost anything. Use it for inventory management and for checking people out with cash. Oh, and that's the other thing. It also makes sure that now, at the end of the day, you know exactly how much cash you're supposed to have. If you're just taking people's money, and let's say that you're just taking people's money, but you have a worker that's taking money and is not keeping track of how much money that they're supposed to have, then now you don't know if somebody's stealing from you. So this at least keeps track of how much money that you should have by the end of the day. It's a very good app. I highly suggest using it.